Yes, sir. Mod Tricker. Back up in this thing, man. Today, I'll be reacting to some creepy videos that'll have you tossing and turning tonight. Let's get it.
Is pray for New Orleans, and then right behind him, you can see that there is green dots in the sky. And then here's the better video. They're kind of sweeping around. You see the rain flying around. You see the trees pushing down, and you see the one thing sweeping. And then he goes back, looks at it again. The object continues to sweep the ground with the laser. And then it looks like the other ones are firing up the lasers as well. Sadly, the trees are in the way there of getting a good look at these things. Plus, there is a lot of wind and rain, and the visibility is not that good. That is a potential reason why these things may be out there at that time. This weather is going to disguise what they are and what they're doing out there. So
this could just be a LiDAR scan to map the area, but I doubt they would be doing that in the middle of a hurricane. This makes me want to go up to Home Depot tomorrow with a picture of Oprah Winfrey's Maui house and have them color match me 5 gallons of blue paint for my roof.
By a lake with water, near a town with people, a helicopter is seen pouring mysterious things into the water. This is the drinking water for the people. We don't know what the helicopter is putting in the water, but it's definitely not feeder.
I wouldn't be eating any fish that came from this lake until they can confirm whatever they just sprayed is benign, because I'm not trying to eat catfish nuggets that'll turn you into Uncle Fester.
You think that I could be an Illuminati member?
I think you potentially could be an Illuminati member, Dr. Phil. I don't think that you get this amount of power and influence and media coverage without taking a deal.
With who?
The Illuminati. They would come and say, Dr. Phil, we can offer you all the money, we can offer you power, we can offer you influence. You just need to take a deal with us.
Could I be wearing a mask?
You could. Could I get up and look?
No, how are you gonna look?
I'm just gonna...
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that the technology is so advanced.
Let me tell you, sister, if I was wearing a mask, it wouldn't look like this.
I can maybe see him being an Illuminati puppet, but during the world domination meetings, they definitely make Dr. Phil wait in a car. He's extremely lucky it stopped where it did, because if it would have traveled another 20 feet, he wouldn't have been on a 310 to Yuma. He would have been on a 310 to the hospital.
I want to say something that was the weirdest thing I think I've ever heard a politician say.
All right.
It involves Hillary Clinton. So 2 weeks ago, it was the Clinton Global Initiative. The interviewer asked,
brief final question. You liken yourself to Cassandra. Putting that Cassandra hat on for the moment, what is something you see happening in the near future that we should be taking more seriously?
I said,
what? Hold on a second.
What? I looked it up, and it says in Greek mythology, Cassandra was a prophetess who could predict the future, but was never believed. Her name literally means she who entangles men. The god Apollo, which a lot of people have interpreted as Apollo is Satan, fell in love with Cassandra and offered her the gift of prophecy in exchange for love. Cassandra agreed, but then refused to keep her word. In retaliation, Apollo cursed her so that no one would believe her predictions. But what's so weird to me was that she has apparently openly said, I'm like Cassandra.
If she was at all like Cassandra the prophetess, then she should have at least been able to predict what would happen when Monica Lewinsky bought Bill Clinton his morning coffee to the Oval Office. She completely missed that prophecy.
This is the evil group of people that I call the Polyester Pirates. And they basically tricked everybody into thinking it's okay to be wearing plastic as clothing. Polyester, nylon, and spandex are all chemically processed plastics, and everybody's, especially women's yoga athletic outfits and everybody's clothes these days are being made of pure plastic. The funniest part about the Polyester Pirates is these materials originate from one of the most evil chemical companies on the planet. And they're also the chemical company that came up with the most toxic chemicals known to man. They're putting these toxic chemicals in the clothes, causing havoc on people's bodies, leaching chemicals everywhere, and not to mention the fact that they're spreading microplastics everywhere. They're literally messing with people's hormones and nobody has anything to say about it. I'm fighting back against the Polyester Pirates. I'm doing everything I can design-wise and to let people know.
This makes me want to go through my closet and check all my clothing labels, because for all I know, my entire outfit could be from the DuPont Fall Collection.
J-Lo's ex-husband claims that J-Lo sacrificed chickens for Santeria rituals. Oh, Johnny Noah married Lopez in February of 1997. When they were desperate to save their marriage, he visited an LA home of a Santeria guru with J-Lo. This is what he was saying. Noah said, quote, "We participated together in sacrifices of chickens and hens, and in one occasion, I was present when they were cleansing Jennifer with the blood of a hen, and herbs were passed over her body. Meanwhile, the godmother was asking the gods to cleanse Jennifer and save our marriage," he said. Noah testified that Lopez, quote, "was doing voodoo when we weren't married. She was doing bad things to a lot of people when we were friends. And I knew all this time because we did personally, me and her, to this particular lady." Noah added that Lopez did voodoo and, quote, "all this religious bullshit," unquote, to former lovers, including Sean Puffy Combs. She's been accused of doing voodoo on her ex-boyfriends, dude. Ben Affleck, Sean Diddy Combs, this Ojani guy.
It would make sense because they all look drained and miserable, like they've had the life sucked out of them.
They completely skipped over marriage counseling and went straight for the sacrifice ritual. I know Ben Affleck wishes he heard this story before he married her.
The FDA allows Big Food and Big Pharma to directly bribe them. Why? Simple. Because the FDA is Big Food and Big Pharma. This is the head of the FDA, Robert Califf. Nice looking man, but, don't let his aw shucks appearance fool you. Forbes magazine writes, Califf's industry ties run deep. He worked closely with drug companies in the best way possible, convincing them to do large, expensive, and profitable clinical trials that help prove the effectiveness of major medicines from big pharma companies like Sanofi, Merck, and J&J. But not only that, he was also a paid consultant on the payroll for big pharma companies like Merck, J&J, GSK, AstraZeneca, and Eli Lilly. Califf's largest consulting payment was from J&J to the tune of $87,500. He was so corrupt that Joe Manchin, of all people, tried to filibuster his confirmation. So when experts like this one say that food dyes are deemed safe by the FDA, you got to know that they're safe because the FDA is paid to look the other way. In fact, the FDA has not evaluated the safety of food dyes for decades. It says right here, Red 40, for example, was last evaluated for health risks back in 1971. That's over 50 years ago. For those scientists out there, don't tell me that science hasn't evolved or learned anything in the last 50 years.
Now it makes sense why the majority of the food at the grocery stores are allowed to have so many questionable ingredients. That would be like El Chapo being hired to be the director for the DEA.
This is big breaking news that could impact people here on Earth. A Boeing Satellite belonging to a multinational service provider mysteriously broke apart in orbit over the past weekend. We're just learning about this just now. According to an official update, the anomaly caused the satellite, known as IS-33E, to be destroyed, resulting in what the company calls a total loss. Now, how did this happen? How could this happen? Did something hit it? Did it just explode? Well, the exact cause of the breakup remains unclear. The United States Space Force announced it is tracking about 20 pieces of debris, but noted there's no immediate threats. Now, this is about 14,000 pounds, the size of a small limousine when it was intact. Now it's in a bunch of different pieces floating around there in space. The satellite did weigh that 14,000 pounds. It was designed and manufactured by Boeing Space Systems, launched in 2016. It provided broadband services, including internet and phone communications to part of Europe, Africa, and most of Asia. But that's the information we have right now. Make sure you're following me. I'll give you the latest if I find out more.
If this is what happened to the satellite, then NASA might want to reconsider that contract with Boeing to use the Starliner to go to the moon. If I was one of those astronauts, the slightest turbulence would have me thinking it's over.
The elites have underground cities and tunnels all around the world. Watch this.
We actually found it. I didn't think we'd find this cave, but here it is. The dungeon. I know, who built it? Yeah. What? No way. Alright, so we have a choice to either keep going on this level or to go up and start our staircase. Whoever made the staircase knew what they were doing. Dude, this is an elevator. Holy crap. Dude, it sounds like there's power to it or something. What?
What do you think they're using these secret tunnels for? Y'all let me know in the comments, and as always, stay weird.
I don't know if this is actually a secret tunnel for the elites. It could just be an old decommissioned mine or something like that. I just know I wouldn't be the person to hop on that elevator and find out, just in case you make it to the bottom and the doors open up and the ex-CEO for Abercrombie & Fitch pops out.
Terms that are on the dollar bill, that are on flags. Take, let's say, in Zurich. In Zurich, you have the headquarters of the Illuminati. The headquarters of World Freemasonry is in Zurich, Switzerland. Over the door of that building is the term Ordo ABO, which means order out of chaos. And Jordan Maxwell and other experts in this subject have talked about that means that the plan of government is to always orchestrate, to engineer chaos in order to create the order, later on. Out of chaos comes the order the people demand. Security. All the events that we see down through time, tribulations caused by government, have this as a central principle.
The eagle with the double head, implying that both sides, both the old world order and the new world order, are being dominated by a third one. And that's what Ian Fleming in his James Bond novels was talking about, that there's a third power over the two. And it's controlling both. And that's the Illuminati. These people are causing, financing, organizing, and directing chaos. And for what purpose? To bring about a new order. They keep you frightened, keep you scared, keep you broke, and keep you on your toes. And while they're keeping this chaos going, Masonic orders, you drive by and you see the, in front of Masonic lodges, you'll always see the double-headed eagle perched on a sword, always on a sword. Because they said real power comes from the sword. And that's the way you create chaos, is with the sword, with violence.
If this is true, then the order to chaos ratio needs some work, because I've yet to see any order.
When you hear what this man did, you will be shocked, but also horrified about what happened to him after his discovery was leaked. So he was a bit of a scientist and inventor. His name was John Hutcherson, and he collected lots of surplus military hardware, and he was running experiments on certain things and uploading videos to YouTube of the results. Now, some of these videos are still on YouTube, and they include 100-pound steel balls levitating off of the table. Also, in real time, he'll take a bar of solid aluminum or metal, and it begins to splinter apart without any heat. He fuses metal spoons to other metal objects, all with frequencies. At least that's what was claimed. He twists up a wrench with frequencies, and you can watch it all in real time. Now, this was his apartment, full of junk. I mean, he was eccentric. He was a kind of an artist kind of guy. You can see all these videos of metal modifying its shape and lifting off of objects. Levitation, we're talking the molecular changing state just with frequencies. Now, the problem is a lot of his experiments defied the laws of classical physics, and uploading those videos on YouTube attracted some attention. In early 2000, his apartment was raided by the Canadian police and some other officials. They confiscated all of his equipment. And since this happened, there's been no more experiment videos uploaded to YouTube, but instead it's bizarre ramblings with John taking on a new appearance, and that is the content of his videos now.
His inventions might have actually been legit, which is the only reason why I can see him getting raided for it, so they can seize all the technology for themselves. But they must have put him through some strong MK Ultra to get him to not talk about it, because he came back looking ready for a Motley Crue audition.
It's Glamham. It's no secret that this flight pattern has bothered me and a lot of people. Flying 2 weeks before Hurricane Helene was announced, mainly because it's around here. So I thought, where else is this special NASA P3 Orion flown? Go look and I see, Ontario, California. So I check it. Seems to be doing some exploring of the Salton Sea, and then definitely seems to be very interested in the area near the Salton Sea. So I think, does NASA have something to do with the Salton Sea? Well, it does, big time. Apparently, since 2008, NASA has had a presence. Now, I'm sure there's tons of biology and geology reasons that NASA would have been there. But I look for this. What is at the bottom of the Salton Sea? Lithium. And I feel, what? Not just any lithium, the world's biggest deposit of lithium in geothermal mine. Enough to produce batteries for 375 million electric cars. I have no particular direction I'm going with this video. All I know is once again, that is nonsense.
Let me find out that NASA is spending our tax money to look for lithium deposits instead of working on space exploration. I'ma lose it.
Do you know that they put your face next to NFL football players and it shows how you look exactly like all the NFL football players?
Oh my God, no!
Want to see it?
I'd love to see it.
I didn't see the full video, though, so this is a surprise to me, too.
Look at under the table there. No, see? Right there, look. That's you and Tom Brady. Look how you look like Tom Brady. I know.
I'm working on something that I don't
Do we have to turn off the sound, or no?
There's a guy with a beard. He's the guy who does it.
Yeah, but look.
Look how he's doing
exactly
it. Look at
like
that.
Tom Brady.
Look at that. Do people come up to you and think you're Tom Brady?
That's scary.
Has Giselle ever come back?
Look like anybody I want to look like. Oh, hey.
Yeah, look.
Fully research video.
Wow.
Wow.
Why not drop a few hints?
Your soulmate is Tom Brady.
You know that? Isn't that unbelievable? Hey, who are you waving at?
Change the subject real fast.
Do we have Kleenex?
Real fast. Gary sure changed the subject awfully fast there. See, what I think is going on is if you want to transition from an NFL player to a broadcaster, well, you got to be part of the club. And just like John Elway before and Boomer Esiason, Tom's doing it. And guess where Tom is now? Tom's broadcasting. But I'm sure I'm just seeing things crazy again because I'm a conspiracy guy and I have a wild imagination and I just like to entertain. Entertainment only.
Gary Brady would have to be the most multi-talented human on this planet to win 7 Super Bowls and still find time to act in all those movies.
It's a hybrid, and that's something very important because I believe they are experiments. What kind of experiments? Why? I don't know. But we have a physical body, and we can analyze that physical body and prove that something, an intelligence is behind these experiments.
Do you think the phenomena is good or bad or both? You think it's a little mixture of both, or is it all good or all evil? What do you think?
I don't think it's good or evil. I think they have their own interest. I think they are not interfering with us, at least not massive. They are probably taking some people, some analyzing. I think they are doing their own experiments for their own agenda. The legs, the feet.
Okay.
But these creatures have another, is the wings. We have an X-ray of this creature.
Have an X-ray.
This looks like if Tinkerbell had a baby with Nosferatu.
Here's something no one's talking about. Trees and land absorbed almost no CO2 last year. And the consequences of that is not just devastating, but it's something most scientists haven't even factored in to their climate models. I mean, just look at what's happening in Finland. You see, humans emit a bunch of carbon into the atmosphere each year, but thankfully about half of all of our emissions is absorbed by the planet's oceans, forests, soils, and other natural carbon sinks. And carbon sinks being a phrase that scientists use to describe something that absorbs more carbon than it releases. But shockingly, this preprint study found that in 2023, Earth's land as a CO2 sink almost dropped to a net zero, the lowest it's been in over 2 decades. And it also showed that because of that drop, and we'll get into the reasons why, the ocean actually increased in CO2 absorption to compensate. And while that absorption plays a critical role, it also presents several dangers, one of which we just saw with Hurricane Helene and Milton, because the more carbon the ocean absorbs, the warmer they become, which then contributes to more and more extreme weather events. And what's happening in Finland is one of the craziest examples of this. WStub. They have one of the most ambitious net zero targets in the world. world, with aims to reach that target roughly 15 years ahead of other European countries. But despite cutting emissions by a massive 43% across all other sectors, because the amount of CO2 that their forests absorb in particular has declined by a staggering 90% from 2009 to 2022, Finland's net emissions are about the same levels as they were in the 1990s. It's as if nothing happened for 30 years. And this paper cited similar declines in regions around the world like Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia, but most severely affected the Amazon rainforest. Shockingly, a severe drought towards the end half of 2023 caused the region to switch from being a carbon sink to becoming a net carbon source. Now honestly, the truth as to why this is happening is not fully understood, but 2023 was the hottest year on record, and researchers at least currently believe that these declines are primarily attributed to droughts, wildfires, and heat waves. Hopefully what happened in 2023 could be temporary and we could see a bounce back. And they say it is critical we do, because any hope of reaching net zero is impossible without nature.
The Earth will bounce back as soon as we stop messing with all the natural processes. There's been so much weather modification on top of all the pollution. Even the trees had to take the year off. I need a break. I don't know what to tell you.
In 2021, a fisherman known as Sauce 90 began having these bizarre and mysterious encounters while on the ocean. And after going viral with several videos, he disappeared from the internet. Now just recently, Sauce 90 began uploading videos once more of these mysterious encounters of what people believe to be evidence of the existence of mermaids. It all began with him hearing strange vocalizations at night in the middle of the ocean.
Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Crazy. That's nuts.
In this particular video, if you pay close attention, we can hear what sounds like some sort of vocalization, as if this creature, whatever it is trying to communicate with him. It is a popular belief that mermaids try to lure people in by singing or enchanting sailors, and I guess this is exactly what was happening with Sauce 90.
Can you hear me? At the docks, though? Hey, yo, you hear that? I know what the that is. That followed me to in. Oh, at the docks, though?
Just a couple of days after, Sauce 90 goes back to his commercial fishing trips, and on one dark night, he finds a mysterious bone on the ship's deck. After posting the picture to Instagram, there were many internet users stating that this is possibly the tail of a mermaid. Now, being someone with a certain level of expertise on marine life, Sauce 90 is unable to identify the bone, so he takes it to an expert.
Today, I got a call back from the Whaling Museum, and they had an expert there who was willing to talk to me about the bone that I have found.
Don't know what it is.
Everybody's saying they never seen nothing like it. Usually the bones that come up are like vertebrae and stuff, but nobody's seen anything like this.
If he found an actual mermaid bone, then he shouldn't have posted it online, because the government is about to take him for a trip and not to Disneyland.
Why this is so important is that the Mosul orb is the first time that the American public gets to see a bona fide designated UFO or UAP. They mean the same thing, but from a conflict zone. The American public has a right to know. They also have a need to know. UAP is designated at a much higher level than just safety of flight. There are bigger concerns about UAP, concerns that deal with the idea of weapons of mass destruction. Do these objects, do they carry payloads? Who's operating? What's the origin? What's the intent? None of those questions have been answered to the American public. So the first thing Pentagon can do is start being honest with the American public. They can tell them about the Mosul orb. They can tell them that this is not unique, it's happening every day. And they can tell them that the Mosul orb is designated UAP and is under active investigation. There's no reason they can't do that.
I mean, we got a better chance of ET himself pulling up to a Chick-fil-A drive-thru line in a flying saucer than the Pentagon telling us.
Anthropic just announced some big updates to Claude today, including computer use, as in let the AI use your computer. Move the mouse around, click it, type. Right out of the announcement here, letting developers direct Claude to use computers the way people do. Looking at the screen, moving the cursor, clicking buttons, typing text. How it does this is by taking screenshots constantly of the screen and sending it back to their API in real time. Remember that whole Microsoft recall thing where we were letting an AI tool on all Microsoft laptops like take screenshots of your screen in real time and send them off to the AI, and we all freaked out about the privacy implications, so Microsoft like took giant steps back from that? Well, yeah, that, but now Claude, and it can click instead of just take the screenshots. Joseph's an AR security researcher and a buddy, and he points out some really good points about, hey, this is gonna be a whole new attack surface for prompt injection. So your AI computer use bot is like going to do some research, stumbles across a website that has a prompt injection sitting in it. It's going to read it, and your website could then direct your bot to do something different that you didn't tell it to do, that it told it to do. I'm not one of those like anti-AI guys or anything like that, but this one's going to be a hard feature to put enough guardrails around so that it doesn't get misused. Follow for more cybersecurity news.
Letting AI have full control over your computer, what could possibly go wrong?
Ariel, what the
It's all fun and games now, but if you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear somebody shuffling through the knife drawer, you better call the SWAT team. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.